لكن تحديت الظروف وخضتها وحدي صبورا مستعينا بالصلاة. كم مرة عصف الأنين بداخلي، كم مرة قد ذاق قلبي من أساه محن تمر، وكم كرهت مصابها.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. ما بعد. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Over the last month, maybe more, maybe less, I have been highlighting serious transparency issues with our charities. And before I start, I'd like to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept all the shuhada. I wanted to affirm my position once again for disclosure purposes, or a disclaimer, in fact, that the Fundraising Mercenaries are at the forefront of raising millions and millions of pounds for their subsequent charities. And we have noticed, since I've started my videos, many brothers and sisters imploring our charities to provide us transparency. And in Shamal Gaza, all the Palestinian journalists, Ibrahim Badr, Anas al-Sharif, and various others, I can't remember their names, have highlighted the fact that aid wasn't coming into North Gaza. And in fact, Gaza as a whole, they've been trickling in. But if we do the comparison in the amount of money raised, or how much has been raised, how much has been spent, how many trucks they've loaded, how many trucks have been waiting outside because they've not been forthcoming with that information. And as now we've proved that they've been starving, and now the media have picked up, the world media picked up after the recent crime by the Zionists. Over the course of the last month, I've been recording regular videos, providing you clear transparency issues or lack of clarity from our charities in connection to the aid, and how much money has been raised, how much money they spent, how much trucks they've loaded, sent, how much are waiting outside, because there's over 2,000 trucks waiting outside going for 7-8 miles. But none of these charities have given us the information to indicate that there are trucks waiting outside, numerous trucks. And now you have noticed states which have a tansiq, which have a coordination, that due to the issues at the Rafah crossing and Karm Abu Salim and Nitzana or Auja, then you got Beit Hanun crossing, which is Erez, and there's issues getting the aid in. So what are the nation states doing? They are dropping aid by air. So as you can see on screen, we've got an article from Al Jazeera written about a few days ago, and also there's a video as well in connection to it. It mentions لماذا لا يتم إدخال المساعدات من معبر رفح بدلا من الإنزال الجوي. It says, why hasn't aid been brought in from the Rafah crossing, but they've substituted this for dropping aid from the sky? And it says خبير الأمن المصري يجيب, that the security professional from Egypt will answer this. Now what I'm going to do is play a video for you and watch how the Al Jazeera journalist probes this security expert. Have a watch.
لماذا تشارك مصر في ذلك وهي لديها معبر رفح الذي يمكنها من إدخال المساعدات دون الحاجة إلى عمليات إنزال جوي؟
لا شك إن هذه المساعدات حتى للمشاهد العام من الأردن ومن دول عربية ومن مصر، مساعدات بالطيران أكيد بالتنسيق مع الإسرائيليين وبالتنسيق مع الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية لتوصيل المساعدات بهذا الشكل. الحقيقة مصر لديها تحفظات على المعبر، لأن المعبر تم قصفه أكثر من 4 مرات أو بالقرب منه، وحدوث شرخ في البوابات الخاصة به. مصر تخشى أن يتم إدخال إحدى الشاحنات ويتم قصفها وضربها وبدون ضمانات، يعني على الأقل أن تكون هناك ضمانات دولية.
لواء محمد، أنت تعلم جيدا أنني أقدر صراحتك وأقدر يعني مواقفك معنا هنا على الهواء أكثر من مرة، وكنت يعني فلسطينيا أكثر من الفلسطينيين في بعض المرات، ولكن واسمح لي بأن أنقل لك أسئلة نقرأها ولن نجد لها إجابة. ربما أنت من الجهة الأخرى لديك قراءة أو إجابات أو ربما لديك معلومة. إذا كان الاحتلال والمسؤولين المصريين قال ضياء رشوان معي هنا على الهواء، وقال مع أحمد، وقال مع عدد آخر من الزملاء، إن لا يمكن إدخال المساعدات عبر معبر رفح دون مفاوضات، لأن الاحتلال سيقصفها. ولكن لماذا سيقصف الاحتلال المساعدات التي تمر عبر معبر رفح ولم يقصف المساعدات التي طالب بإنزالها، بل يقول إنه نسق هو إنزال هذه المساعدات؟ يعني الأولى أن تدخل المساعدات عبر المعبر وتمر بهذا المسار، يكون هناك من يستلم هذه المساعدات يقدمها للفلسطينيين بصورة إنسانية تصل لمستحقيها. إنما إلقاء المساعدات حتى أن بعضها وقع في البحر، نحن غير قادرين على فهم ذلك.
طب وماذا حدث اليوم؟ حدث اليوم عند استلام المساعدات ومن الجو، وكما قلت لحضرتك أكيد بالتنسيق مع الجانب الإسرائيلي، لأن ده اختراق مجال جوي، وبالتالي مع الجانب الإسرائيلي هناك تنسيق ومع الجانب الأمريكاني. وماذا حدث اليوم؟
سبحان الله العظيم, the Al Jazeera journalist probes this security expert and asks, if you have a border, and I'm summarizing it because, I'm going to translate it later, that if you have a border or a crossing, Rafah, which Egypt controls, then why is it that you are dropping aid from the sky? Because you got a border, so you could just let stuff in. So why are you coordinating with the UAE and Jordan to drop aid from the sky? It doesn't make any sense. Now, he responds, a security expert, again, who can trust Sisi's government? Let's be frank, right? In terms of their responses. Yes, we know the understanding of how the crossings work, especially with the process and the procedure. But he responds by saying, like, okay, and I'm paraphrasing, I'm going to have to listen to it properly when I translate it, that, there's a threat or there's been 4 strikes near the Rafah border, and it just waffles on. And again, when I translate it, you could obviously listen to it properly. So then the Al Jazeera presses him even further and just highlights that, look, I respect you, as well as the other guests, but Diyar Rishwan, as I mentioned before, the Rais of the Ista'lamat, the security information or the state information service, and others like Ahmed and other colleagues, then she says, look, it doesn't make any sense. Like, we can't understand it that you're dropping aid from the sky, and the Zionists, they attack the aid coming in, because you have to remember, very limited aid is coming in. And I highlighted this a month ago. None of the charities did that when we were mentioning the Palestinians were starving and they were eating horse meat, and none of them. But until this attack from the Zionists, then everyone has now been saying, oh, okay. So like I said, in comparison to the money raised and how much the money has been spent and how much trucks they've organized and sent, none of them have confirmed any of the trucks are waiting, by the way. Do you see what I mean? None of them have been forthcoming, but they're going to be quick to take your money. So the transparency, we need to see documentation. We need to do serious analytical investigation regarding the data, the figures, how to unpack this information, amount of money raised, the exchange rate, optimizing that data, unpacking this data to confirm how much money have you actually spent in comparison to the trucks that you've sent in. And we need to calculate how much the trucks are, how much they're claiming, how much the items are, and all of these things. We need to see documentation. We need to see documentation. Also, Sisi also confirms that we haven't closed the border, nihaiyan, like absolutely. But we're waiting for a ceasefire, and then thereafter, the aid can get in. But that doesn't make any sense. You are in control of, allegedly, بشكل مباشر, you are in control of this particular crossing. So what are you talking about? Like, aid can't get in because there's 2,000 plus trucks going for miles.
مصر أبدا لم تغلق القطاع، ولكن آسف المنفذ يعني، ولكن احنا عشان نعمل حاجة في أوضاع اللي زي كده فيها اقتتال لازم نخلي بالنا إن ما يحصلش مشكلة وإحنا بنعمل الإجراء.
None of these charities have been forthcoming to even acknowledge that their trucks are waiting at the border or the crossing. If there's 2,000 trucks, how much of yours are waiting? You could show us potentially about aid getting in. Like I said, there was a small ceasefire and there were trucks going in. Of course, no one's doubting that you haven't sent trickling of aid in. No doubt about that. Even though there's 2,000 plus trucks waiting outside, and we've shown you that in previous videos. But once again, how are you getting that aid in? You must have documentation and proof. The crossing, when it crosses into Gaza, the UNWRA and the Palestinian Red Crescent, and then the Israelis as such, take control of it. So you don't have any power as to where it goes. So don't pretend that you have any power and influence and keep mentioning your business partners or your partners on the ground. They've got no authority. as we've confirmed. North Gaza have been starving for a month. None of you charity have presented that information directly or independently. So what's going on? The transparency issue is still ongoing. You're going to find charities market in Ramadan that they're getting the aid in. It is detrimental right about now. North Gaza is difficult to get aid in. We know this. It is difficult. But when we look at what's transpired over the month, Wallah al-Azim, these charities have no interest in giving you any updated transparency, clarity when it comes to this particular issue. And why is that? Is it this? Be honest, is it this? It's shocking. Honestly, it's absolutely shocking. And we'll do the maths. How much money you've raised, how much aid you've given. We'll do the maths. We'll go into it in much detail. We'll optimize this data. And we would be willing to sit down with you and optimize this data with you and request a paper trail, request an audit. Not audit meaning we'll look at the documentation to confirm how much aid you've sent in, how much trucks you've sent, working all the figures out, seeing how much you've spent, because it's 100% donation policy, so it's upon you. What's the qaida al-fiqhiyya? The proof is on who? The claimant. You're making the claim, not me. All I'm asking for is proof. All I'm asking for is documentation. But you're not very forthcoming with that. I've had many brothers speak to me from the charity sector directly. Wallah al-Azim. And they've also expressed their concerns. And I don't want to mention their names. They've given me full details, transparency of how they operate. I know a lot more than you think. Not mentioning any names, and believe you me, they've told me some horror stories. So, whether it be mosque committees, whether it be charities, whether it be Shari'i councils or Sharia councils, you'll hear from me. And you hear from me, and the data is being gathered, and at the end of the day, we need answers. We're not going to allow our deen to be monetized by certain individuals and certain groups or certain charities or certain mosque committees or certain Shari'i councils. Believe you me, though that day and age has passed. We will ask the questions. And we don't want to hear any excuses. You have to be forthcoming. You have to be transparent. You have to provide us clarity, because it's our haqq as believers. We have to, verify the information. And that's our deen. That's our religion. So take care of yourselves. Wa sallallahu ala nabiyyina Muhammad.
ليس الغريب غريب الشام واليمن إن الغريب غريب اللحد والكفن إن الغريب له حق لغربته على المقيمين في الأوطان والسكن سفر بعيد وزاد لن يبلغني وقوتي ضعفت والموت يطلبني ما أحلم الله عني حيث أمهلني وقد تماديت في ذنبي ويسترني تمر ساعة